Passek, FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today I'll be tying a small little nymph pattern, really bright green pattern. Just lots of attraction to it. Just a couple of little hot spots. You'll see what as we get going, but it's a fairly simple little nymph, but very, very effective at times. And I should say that more in some of my videos, because I have questions and people saying, oh yeah, all your flies are are great, but no, they're not all great, but they all produce at times. Other ones produce almost all the time, but some of them produce at times. This is one of those at times, and I find that this one really works well when the fish are kind of off. I find that this one is one that I seem to want to put on and get them to bite. So this can be used in the lakes as I'm tying it, and in the rivers I would just add some underbody weight or a Chartreuse green beadhead, either or. So there we go. So we're going to start off with let's just make sure that's focused. Now. There we go. We're going to start off with a FW562 in a size 10. It's a short nymph hook. For the tail in this one, we're going to be using a Chartreuse green Goose Biot. For the rib, we're going to be using some Semperfli Chartreuse Floss. And for the body, we're going to be using this number 16 Hare Dubbing Plus from Hens. This one right here, this green. I also tie this one in, where are we? This yellow and in the gray as well. Okay, so, and we're going to be using some Semperfli Classic waxed in floral green for the thread. So I just get the thread all started. Get a little bit of a base down. Then I'm going to take one of these biots. Got to cut one off. Just one. That's all you need. And facing downwards, because they always have a natural curve. Facing downwards, I want it to about the length of the hook. So about there is where it's going to stick past, a little bit further about there. You want to make sure this is sitting right on top of your hook, right on top, okay? And then come back to your bend, roughly to just before the bend of the hook. Come back up to the front. I'll take my floss wherever I ended up throwing it. I had a piece out. See if it ended up in my lap. Take my floss, just tie that in all the way back, and I'll just use my little magnet here to hold it out of the way. Then I'm going to take some of that green. This is the Hare Dubbing Plus. Like I said, it's got that nice little sparkle in it. Just waxing my thread. I know that this is waxed thread, but I like having a little bit of extra wax. And I like doing this one in stages. And you'll see what I mean. I'll get my dubbing just started. I like this one being fairly spiky and tapered up. So I want it to be a little thinner at the back end and then getting thicker as we go. I don't like having it over tight on my thread either, this material. I want it to be a little looser. I want this to be spiky. Right? So as you can see, I'm not over tightening on the dubbing itself, on the thread. I am making it thicker and thicker as I come up. I want this to have a little bit of a taper. There. So I like doing this. This is one of those flies I like adding as I come forward. I like doing it in little stages like this instead of trying to put one big noodle on and then try to control that, right? It's a lot easier to control it if you do it this way. Okay, so now opposite. I want to do my rib coming up. Come all the way to the front. Tie that off. You're going to end up wanting a nice green head on this one as well, so it's good to bring that all the way forward. Now I'll do just a quick, just 1 or 2 turn whip finish here, just so it doesn't go anywhere on me. I'll grab my dubbing brush. I really want to get this nice and buggy, so pull this stuff out, just get it nice and rough. Okay, I'll do another set of whip finish. That'll build my head. Finished fly. That simple. Very, very, very simple fly. And I'll just take that so you can see that tail a bit better. So I'll just put it on an angle just so you can see. That's it. Very, very simple fly. Like I said, it's not very hard. Put a Chartreuse bead on if you want it for the river, or a little bit of underbody weight if you want it for the rivers, if you want it to sink. You can even have ones like that for the lakes as well. I just like, especially for lakes, I like controlling descent of my flies with my fly lines, not with the fly. I find that they're beaded flies, unless you want them to undulate, beaded flies undulate too much, right? And they don't look that natural in the lakes. So I try to stay away from beads in the lakes, other than like leeches and so on. But even with my leeches, some of my control just like that. I don't want them to undulate too much, right? So, but yeah, that is the fly. It's fairly simple. It's a tiny little bit of sparkle in there from that Hens dubbing, that Hare dubbing plus. It's got that little sparkle in it, and then that really bright tail and bright head just gets them in there, right? So, like I said, this is one of those things that. Sometimes they won't touch it, but other times when they're being really picky, this is one that I seem to do really well on. So, all right. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Give that one a try. Make sure you have that one in your box, and tight lines. We'll see you guys on the next video.